Hi everybody and welcome to the World of Micah. Today we are in Tupelo, Mississippi, where we're going to be talking about a boy from Tupelo, Mississippi, the king of rock and roll, one of my all-time biggest influences in my life, the man, Elvis Aaron Presley. It's going to be a ton of fun. We're going to be traveling around Tupelo, following in the footsteps of Elvis and the Presley family, all the way up until the year where they finally moved to Memphis, Tennessee, and the rest is history. Now, before we get started, go ahead and click that subscribe button because it's free. It'll keep you updated on my latest video. If you would like to support my channel, please visit my Patreon page at patreon.com/worldofmicah. We're donating $1 a month. Can help fund episodes just like this. Let's start here at the Elvis Presley birthplace. Now,
let's take a closer look.
Right here in Tupelo, Mississippi, on the corner of Reese Street and Elvis Presley Drive, is the Elvis Presley birthplace. Our first stop for the day. This is the entrance. You can park right up here, and over here is the house, a chapel, there's a museum, all kinds of things. Kind of give you guys an overview map of everything. Welcome to the birthplace. There's a walk of life, Elvis Presley birthplace, the 1948 granite block, Elvis at 13 statue, all kinds of things here that you can do. And the great thing is everything on property to look at from outside is free. Inside the Welcome Center, that's where you can buy tickets to get everything. Unfortunately, they are no longer doing tours as of right now with everything going on in the world, but we're still going to get a good look at everything on property. Welcome to the birthplace of Elvis Aaron Presley, born January 8th, 1935. This house was built by his father, Vernon Presley. Elvis's career as a singer-entertainer redefined American popular music. He died August 16th, 1977 in Memphis, Tennessee. Now they call this a shotgun house. And the reason for that is because if you stand at the front door right there and shoot a shotgun, it'll go straight out the back door. This is the back door here, as you can see, kind of lining it up with the windows. It goes straight through. Imagine that, the king of rock and roll growing up in something this small. Now, not a lot of people know this, but Elvis was actually a twin. He had a twin brother named Jesse Garon Presley. Elvis Aaron and Jesse Garon Presley. Jesse was born 30 minutes prior to Elvis, but he was stillborn. This is a statue of Elvis, the age of 13. Starting to get his signature hair look. He's wearing overalls still. There he is holding the guitar. Now later on in Elvis's life, he would never wear overalls or blue jeans again. He always dressed to impress, wearing slacks, suits, and different shirts that had some flair to them. I think because he just never had anything growing up. Now this is a part of the Mississippi Country Music Trail. They have a Mississippi Blues Trail. This placard is a part of the Country Music Trail. It's talking about how Elvis was first introduced as the Hillbilly Cat, then by RCA Victor as the hottest new name in country music. He had a musical mix that always had a country as a key ingredient, and he appeared on the country charts over 50 times. Elvis would record the country songs he loved throughout his career. That is true. Now this is a part of the Mississippi Blues Trail, Elvis Presley and the Blues. Many of Elvis's first songs were recorded for the Sun label in Memphis, were actually covers of earlier blues recordings by African Americans. He continued to incorporate blues into his records and live performances for the remainder of his career. Now this is very neat. This is not the actual site from where this church first stood. This was actually Elvis's childhood church. The First Assembly of God Church. This is where Elvis and his family regularly attended services. Now this structure was originally 1 block away on Adams Street. To make way for a larger building, the old church was moved across the street and turned into a residence. But in 2008, the building was moved to this site and restored to its original condition. So this is what it would have looked like when the Presleys were going to church at the Assembly of God. Neat little placard here talking about the Elvis Presley Center in Tupelo, opening in 1963. If you climb to the very tip top, it's a pretty cool statue here. Young Elvis Presley, and the Elvis that most people remember. The jumpsuit era. Did you guys know that Elvis got inspiration for his suit from Captain Marvel? Seriously, look up Captain Marvel comics. You'll see what I'm talking about. Now the Presleys moved around quite a bit in Tupelo. One of the many streets they lived on is right here, Berry Street. They moved here in 1945. In 1946, Gladys Presley, Elvis's mom, brought him in here to buy him a birthday present. Elvis really wanted to buy a rifle, but his mother insisted on him getting a guitar. Gladys paid $7.75 and a 2% sales tax. And the rest is history. Right through these doors, a young Elvis Presley went in and got his first guitar. And check this out. They've got a little guitar right here and a stand-up of Elvis. This is the X where Elvis stood, received his first guitar. Now in here they do have quite a bit of merchandise you can get. Some Elvis, some Tupelo, and some Tupelo Hardware. Might have to grab something on the way out. Look at this, look at that right there. And they do have a guitar right up here signed. Pretty neat, man. So much history in this hardware store. And they actually do sell guitars in here, you guys. This is mind-blowing. Guitars and t-shirts. Look at that, Tupelo Hardware. Wow. And there's the man himself, right up there. Now out here in Tupelo, Mississippi, they do have the Elvis guitar trail that you can take. You can pick up a map, and there are different guitars just like this one, all painted and decked out and different things pertaining to Elvis's life. And they're usually in front of some sort of business out here in Tupelo. This one is here in front of the hardware store where Elvis got his first guitar. Just noticing this, there's a plaque telling the story. 1946, Elvis wanted a .22 rifle. His mother bought him a guitar. Super nice folks inside the Tupelo Hardware Company. Walking down the street of Main Street here in Tupelo, and check that out. Wow. Painting of Elvis and his character Vince Everett from the film Jailhouse Rock, one of my favorite Elvis movies of all time. Now my favorite Elvis movie is King Creole, but I sure do love some Jailhouse Rock. Our next spot is here at Johnnie's Drive-In Barbecue. A young Elvis Presley, when he was around in elementary school, would stop in here after school, get himself a cheeseburger and an RC Cola, and they are still open to this day. We're gonna grab some lunch here. I'm gonna grab a cheeseburger and a Coke. This is the closest I can get. They're not opening the dining room, but you can see the Elvis booth right there. Supposedly that's where Elvis would go and hang out and get his cheeseburger. It's another one of these guitars with Elvis on it. Kind of reminds me of the old stamps they had back in the day. You guys remember the Elvis postal stamps? Right here, while attending nearby Lawhon Elementary, Elvis stopped in here for one of his favorite meals, cheeseburger and an RC Cola, or as Elvis called it, a ROC. One of Elvis's best friends was James Osborne, who often joined him here. Maybe next time when I'm here, we can actually go in and sit at the Elvis booth. Either way, I'm getting a cheeseburger. All right, this is it. Mustard, onion, pickle, This is the dough burger. Believe they put a little bit of dough around the meat. Just like what a young Elvis Presley would have gotten. Decided to bring you guys out to what many have said to be the final resting place of Elvis's twin brother, Jesse Garon Presley. Now where we are is the Priceville Cemetery here in Tupelo, Mississippi, and this is supposedly where Jesse Garon Presley has been laid to rest. I've seen a couple of videos, a couple of stories, and different articles talking about speculation on whether this is the exact spot, but there is a plaque here for Jesse. There's also a few other members of the Presley family that are buried here. You have a Presley here, Oma, who died in 1932, Susan Presley, who died in 1939, Noah Presley, who died in 1969, and right here, now this is pretty new. Jesse Garon Presley, January 8th, 1935, infant. People have left some things for Jesse. There used to be just that little tiny brick right there. And over time, they've added this plaque for Jesse Garon. Just think for a moment what the world would be like if there were two Presley brothers. Now in 1948, this was the Milam Junior High School. Elvis Presley went into the 8th grade here, where in the middle of his 8th grade year, his family decided to move to Memphis. When the Presleys moved to Memphis on November 6, 1948, it had been reported that it was a 1937 Plymouth that they drove. It was also had been reported it was a 1939 at Plymouth. On this document from the Graceland Archives, there's an article in a book called Last Train to Memphis. Elvis quoted saying, "We were broke, man, broke. We left Tupelo overnight. Dad packed all of our belongings in boxes and put them in a trunk on the top of the 1939 Plymouth. We just headed for Memphis. Things had to get better." And this would have been the type of car they traveled to Memphis in, a 1939 Plymouth. Now this is not the exact car that the Presleys drove, but this is the year, make, and model that the Presleys drove all the way from Tupelo to Memphis in. On November 6, 1948, the Presley family packed up their Plymouth and moved to Memphis, Tennessee. But Elvis would return to Tupelo, Mississippi in 1956 as a part of the Mississippi-Alabama Dairy Show. And that show took place around this area off of Main Street in Tupelo, Mississippi. Now 1956, Elvis was at the height of his career. Heartbreak Hotel, Hound Dog, all these huge hits were out on the RCA Victor label, and he returned to his hometown to give those folks a good show. And here's a plaque talking about Elvis returning, the homecoming concert. Now, not a lot of folks talk about October 3rd, 1945, where a 10-year-old Elvis played to his first crowd on these grounds and took 5th place. He sang the song Old Ship. They don't have that on here on the plaque, but he did sing the song Old Ship. And then in 2012, Mississippi artist Bill Beckwith, that's him right there, was commissioned to sculpt a statue. And the statue is based off this photograph right here. These are other photos of Elvis. That's with his mother Gladys, father Vernon. There he is with the key to Tupelo. They had it in the shape of a guitar. Now this is from the 1945 Mississippi-Alabama Fair and Dairy Show. And that's Elvis right there. He took home 5th place. And you can recreate that famous photograph. This is what it was like for people to reach out and take Elvis's hand while he was performing. Absolutely incredible. Now on the ground here they have different bricks honoring certain folks. A few of these right here are for the Elvis tribute artist, the ultimate Elvis tribute artist. Now I know a few of these guys: Doug Church, Cody Slaughter, Kevin Mills, Bill Cherry, David Lee. These guys are all heroes to me because they do such a fantastic job of giving a great tribute and honoring the king of rock and roll. But the next time you're here, it's right across from Tupelo City Hall. You can stand in the general area from where Mr. Elvis Presley performed on his homecoming concert in Tupelo, Mississippi. Well, friends, our journey has come to an end. And now it's time to say goodbye. But if you enjoyed this episode, please give me a big thumbs up the next time you're here in Tupelo, Mississippi. Journey around and follow in the footsteps of the boy from Tupelo, Elvis Aaron Presley. Very historical, very entertaining, and a lot of it is free. All my links are down below. I'll see you guys in a brand new episode tomorrow. Until then, stay weird. Goodbye.